Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. It's time to eat, drink, and be merry with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy.
Well, happy Wine Wednesday, everybody. It is June 10th, 2020, and you're listening to Big Blend Radio with Nancy and Lisa, the crazy mother-daughter travel team on the Love Your Parks tour, publishers of 2 digital publications, including Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. That's our Viva Variety lifestyle magazine, and Parks and Travel magazine. So you can check it all out at bigblendmagazines.com. Today's show, we are airing live from Florence, which is the antique capital of Colorado. However, today's show has 2 recordings, and that's the whole feature is about Restoration Vineyards, which is up in the northwest corner of Colorado. We're in the southwest corner now, but 2 weeks ago we were in the northwest corner and exploring the Fruit and Wine Byway, Palisade Fruit and Wine Byway, in the heart of Colorado's wine country. I have to tell you, this was just like an amazing experience and the whole area, the Grand Valley from Grand Junction, Palisade, the Grand Mesa, Clifton, that whole area was amazing. And this was an exceptional afternoon that we enjoyed. It was, as I was saying, Restoration Vineyards. And we spent time with Gary, Linda, and Stephanie. Gary and Linda, husband and wife. Gary is the restorer of cars and Mercedes-Benz, and Linda is the winemaker. And then they have their daughter, Stephanie, who is running things and doing weddings and doing all kinds of things over there. And she's a musician. You'll find out more about that because she plays a special instrument, Nancy.
She does.
Yep. We had so much fun. We said, we're going to come visit. We're going to do some wine tasting, do an interview. And normally the interviews are 15 to 30 minutes. Well, we had an exceptional time. We did a full wine tasting and heard a story of a family, a story of entrepreneurship, a story of women in the winemaking industry. We heard about massage, music, cars, really history of the area.
Fascinating.
Wasn't it amazing? It was one of the best afternoons ever. Yeah. And it all started, we were on our way to Palisade Base Camp. It's an RV and camping resort in Palisade right on the Colorado River. And, we were told from them, Christy said, hey, you got to go over there. So we said, okay. And we did. And then we spent a lot of time drinking wine. And so we have our first segment, which is the wine tasting, and you'll hear about each wine and the story of the winery and everything, as I was saying. And then we're going to take a music break, and you're going to hear one of our favorite songs by Johnny Master and the Mama's Boys, one of our favorite bands, too, Wine-Headed. And that is dedicated to Linda, the winemaker, don't you think? Because she's wine-headed.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so you can check them out at johnnymastro.com, and then we'll go into Part 2, which we didn't know was going to happen, but Linda came out with their Pinotage, which isn't bottled yet, and said, well, let's do a tasting of the beginning of this wine, which was very unique and different. So we have Part 1 and 2, and even Chuck from the original owner of Mesa Park Vineyards was there. And so we had that whole it was just one of those days, and I wish you all were there because it was exceptional. And so it was wonderful. And Nancy, did you know, before we get started, today, apparently, according to LinkedIn, is our 23rd anniversary of Big Blend. 23 years we're celebrating today. Yeah.
Well, good for them for telling us, good for us.
I know. 23 years. It's amazing. And I know, and I think it's interesting because I know we talked about our, industry and our beginnings a bit with, Gary and Linda and Stephanie. And, so it's pretty darn cool. So cheers to us. Cheers to everyone who has been part of our journey for 23 years. Audience,
in this country,
writers, advertisers, marketing partners, our friends, our tour angels, and all those who have given us wine on the road, a pillow to land on, and a bed to land on. And so many of you are involved in this big blend journey in so many facets. We love you all and appreciate and thank you. So
for sure.
thank you. So keep up with us at bigblendmagazines.com. Keep up with Restoration Vineyards. Go to their website, restorationvineyards.com. And I think we should get this show started. This is enough of us. You'll hear us at the winery. You'll hear the music. Again, JohnnyMastro.com. Keep up with them. And if you go to New Orleans, watch for them to be back out performing again as soon as that happens. So here it is. Are you ready, Nancy?
For sure.
Hey, are you ready for some wine?
Duh.
I know. It's time. It's wine time. Cheers, everybody. This is Lisa and Nancy, and we are sitting outside right next to a vineyard looking out at these beautiful mountains, the Grand Mesa. We've got Mount Garfield behind us. We're in the heart of Colorado's wine country in Palisade, and we are at Restoration Vineyards. And this is a vineyard that believes in everything being fluid and liquid.
That's right.
So it is a beautiful, beautiful place, and we're sitting, it's a family-owned winery. So we've got Stephanie Brauns, you're the daughter, right?
Yes, I am.
So how long have you been involved here?
Full-time since June of last year.
You having fun?
Yes, it's interesting working with family every day and living on property with them all the time.
Does wine help?
Wine definitely helps at the end of the day.
It's mandatory.
Mandatory.
So Nancy and I, we work together, we drive together, we wine together, and we wine and travel. So I know wine solves everything.
Makes everything clearer.
That's it. So we've got Gary. Gary, you are the restorer of cars.
I am.
Not just any car.
Not just any car. Mercedes-Benz specifically.
Okay.
And 72 and older is my go-to years.
Now, is that something that started as a child, like getting into cars?
It started with a Volkswagen Bug that I had. It was a family car that I had rolled off of a cliff.
Oh.
And my folks had said, okay, well, here, a happy early graduation gift. Now go ahead and fix it up. And so that's what they actually started me doing, was working on my Volkswagen Bug to get that back on the road again. And that was supposed to be kind of like a punishment, but I actually really enjoyed it, and I've never left that passion. So it's been kind of fun.
Right on. And so now we got to go. Now you're all involved with the winemaking here, but Linda, you are the winemaker.
I am officially the winemaker.
Wow. So now you started making wine here when?
My first vintage was in 2012.
Okay.
But the serious production started in 2015.
So did you just pick it up and start trying things out, or did you go work as an apprentice somewhere? Or?
That's a great question. I didn't know I wanted to be a winemaker when we bought the property. So we bought the vineyard, which is 7 acres planted, in 2012, and it was extremely distressed. And so we bought it thinking we'd have to replant. So it was a 4-year plan to fix and flip, and we ended up having grapes that first year. We watered it a lot, and we had not a whole lot. We maybe had 2 tons of grapes, and I can't waste anything. We're both German and very frugal, and so we started calling. Actually, Gary started calling around to some of the other wineries saying, do you want some grapes? And it wasn't a big enough volume for anyone to really bite, so John Barbier at Maison La Belle Vie.
Oh, yeah, we just saw him yesterday. Yeah.
Gary talked to John, and he said,
I said, hey, John, I've got some extra crop here. I'd hate to see it go to waste. Would you be interested in doing something? He said, oh, yeah, we can work something out. So that was almost Italian. But that's so much for my French accent. So what ended up happening was we traded John Barbier our harvest of Barbera. And then he actually helped Linda do the first fermentation along with his winemaker, Corey.
Oh, nice. Yes, so he actually loaned us the picking bins because we had nothing to put the grapes in. So we borrowed some picking bins, and then John also let me borrow a big tank because I didn't have anything to make wine, and he walked me through it. And, through the process. Of course, I started reading. As soon as I decided I was going to try to do this winemaking thing, I started reading everything I could. And so I would call John and say, what do I do now? And so he kind of walked me through that first vintage, which was the Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, what are we sampling?
Well, actually, let me go ahead and interrupt for a second.
Sampling,
And we're getting hot out here. We better get on it.
I'm getting thirsty.
Yeah, we need fluid.
Well,
So this is our silver medal winning Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh,
It's our estate grown, produced Sauv Blanc.
Excellent.
More of a, well, what you talk about, my winemaking wife.
We say it's more of a New Zealand style. I really love the floral notes and, some of the more tropical notes in this one. And I didn't really drink a lot of Sauvignon Blanc before we bought a vineyard that had it planted. And so I love the Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc, and so that's kind of my standard that I'm hoping to achieve. But I am proud of this wine. I like it. It's my favorite.
So this is your first?
This is the first of our tastings, but this is not our first vintage.
Yeah, the first one was the Chardonnay, you said.
Yeah, we had a 2012 Chardonnay that I only made 3 carboys worth, so it was just a small little batch. In 2015, we actually did all of our reds. I made a Barbera, a Merlot, and a Cabernet Franc. I didn't make the whites until 2016. Was my first commercial production of Chardonnay and Semillon.
Yummy.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is yummy. I like my work.
Wait, I'm going to catch up here.
I like my fluid work.
I'm holding the recorder so my balance is all weird.
No,
I'm
no.
not twirling my legs good enough. But this is really good. It's refreshing. This is like New Zealand style. It is.
Very fruity.
South African-like, too, yeah. Well, they're all, I put New Zealand, Australian, South African in the
Just
same
lump them
barrel.
together.
Yeah, we just blend them. You know?
The big blend. Good.
Thank you. You get another point. We're going to start racking up points here, but this
I'm sure
is.
they're happy about that.
Tell us about the day you decided, okay, now we're opening the winery. Not just, you can make wine and, give it to a wine bar or, restaurants and other tasting rooms. Or now it's like, hey, let's open a winery and have people here. Because this has grown into music, weddings, like this is a little
all these
artwork.
Things. Yeah, so from basically being a 4-year plan, this is supposed to be a fix and flip. So this was known locally as the Dead Vineyard. And so we, with the help of Bruce Talbot, a local legend in the farming community, him being the guy that knows everything about the vines, we hired him, entrusted him to bring it back to life again. And so he went old school, put furrows in each row, and we just flooded it for 2 weeks, turned this into a whole pond. And lo and behold, 80% of the vines came back. Cool. And so Bruce, being a very religious man, said, boy, Gary, this reminds me of the story of Lazarus and resurrection. Wow. And I said, hey, that's a pretty cool name. So we kind of morphed that into restoration. And since we restore cars as well, and our vineyard was restored, and we now have restored energy from our old corporate lives. And so then we suddenly
seem to fit.
They seem to fit all of our facets of our life.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so at that point, we still weren't sold, even though we got our vines, that's working right directly into our 4-year plan.
Well, we should say in 2013 and 2014, we didn't have any grapes, because we had a late freeze in 2013, an early freeze and a late freeze in 2014. So we didn't have any grapes. And I want to say it was 2015 when we did have a good harvest coming that I said, hey,
we can make
maybe
this work.
We should do this, because by then I was totally hooked in wine making.
You're like, I ain't going back.
Yeah, my Chardonnay was so fun, and I loved it, and I just wanted to learn. I love to learn. I love to read, and so it just gave me something new to do, and it is a little bit of work, but a lot of learning, and that's what I really enjoy. So I think it was 2015 where we said,
discussion.
We have this big building, there's no winery yet, we could make it into a winery and just start doing the commercial thing. And so we partnered with Red Fox Cellars.
Okay, yeah.
They are new. They bought their vineyard about the same time we bought ours, so we're kind of in the same boat. We're about the same age and had a lot in common. And so we partnered with them, and that's where I started making my reds in 2015, knowing that it was going to take us a while to build the winery, and I wanted inventory. I wanted to have something to sell when we did open.
We want you to have inventory.
Yes, we do.
want the inventory.
Yes, we
but
do.
didn't you open the day of the festival that happened?
We did, September 15th, 2018. We decided to open the doors. We didn't want to miss 6,000 wine enthusiasts that come into our little town.
Descending upon Palisade.
Yeah,
We're also waiting for a permit, right?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, wow,
that was right. We just finally
didn't
had
have our certificate of occupancy.
We got it
So
the
I
day
had everything set up outside just in case we couldn't, use the building, and so we had tents up, and we were going to do this if it killed us.
And it almost did. But no, so we got from the county, we got our certificate of occupancy that day before. And we didn't even have a tasting bar at that point, so we took an old barn door that we had, put it on some of Linda's favorite barrels,
Little did
and
you know
presto,
they were
here's
my
a
favorite
tasting,
barrels.
There's our tasting bar for the first few months. And
cool, though.
so it worked out really well. Linda and Stephanie researched the point of sale the day before, and so we're off and running, trying to educate me on all things electronic, which is not an easy task, but we did it by God.
I wasn't even able to be there for the first day of opening. I was on a cruise.
How sad. How sad. Where did you go?
I was in the Caribbean, so I wasn't.
Oh, come on now. You had Bahama Mamas. That's it. That's good. That's all good. That's all good. That's awesome. But I love it that you just went and opened, no matter how hard it is, to just go and do it without doing everything big and fancy. Just go right into it. I think there's a business lesson in that, in entrepreneurship. If you try to be perfect, it's hard. I'm a Virgo, so I'm a pain in my own butt. I'm like, only yours. No. Well, yeah. But there's that thing where you just do it.
Right.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're never going to do it.
And we were scrambling, and my son was here as well, and he decided that we needed to put the Mercedes out by the driveway, because people would look, right, and say, oh, look, and wrote on the windows, we're open, and, so we're just kind of rolling with it, trying to make it as authentic as possible.
That's right. And it was so funny. We have this bike race that goes through here the morning of the wine fest, or a tour, and so he's almost accosting every one of the bike riders. We're coming back. We're open. We're coming back. And
they did.
And he had probably at least 60 to 70 people come back.
Motorcycle?
Cyclists.
Yeah, I heard that we have to watch the cyclists when they go wine tasting.
You gotta watch that. Yeah, but these are serious bicyclists with Lycra and the whole works.
Oh, and they're dressed.
Yes.
Listen, speaking of that, your bike racks rock. I love this. There's a Facebook group that I belong to on bike racks. Not that I ride bikes. We're not doing that. But the bike racks those are cool. Those are different.
Made out of pallets.
My first pallet.
Bike rack. That Sauv Blanc is only 13% alcohol. Wait a second.
Quite good. So
something.
It is officially 12.6.
There you go. That's your limit.
Yeah, that's it.
That is the only one you can try.
It's got a little bit of that minerality in there too.
Yeah,
that balance. I like it.
Wet stone.
Are we ready for our Semillon?
Yeah.
Should we do it?
Sauvignon.
No, it's actually the Semillon.
Oh, Semillon.
Yeah.
Semillon. Okay, what now? I don't think I've had Semillon. That's why I can't say it.
You probably have, but it's typically blended away into a Chardonnay or Sauv Blanc historically.
So it's in a Bordeaux blend is the traditional Semillon and Sauvignon Blanc. You don't know that.
We did have Semillon here. It was here, not at this winery, but we did. And then we had one, Tramenette. I don't know.
Oh, that's great.
Some song that Beethoven
that's great. We love it. No, we love it as a single varietal because people aren't familiar with it, and they'll try it. You say Chardonnay, and there's so much stigma around Chardonnay and Merlot. Thank you very much, Sideways, on the Merlot. But this is one that they're like, oh, I don't know that. So they're very open-minded, and I love that because they'll try it, and they love it. And it's got a little bit, I'd call it off-dry. I don't know if you've tried it yet, but it definitely had the tropical notes. It had guava, and we just loved the juice so much. I said, I'm going to just keep this as its own and see what people think, and it's doing very well for us.
Now that's the thing to me. I think it's important that we as the wine tasters and liquid lovers. That's my new thing now.
That is really different.
That we learn the different varietals. When it's always a blend, I always go, well, what's in there? What, you know?
Really light.
It's a proprietor's blend. You can't know.
Yeah.
It's the secret sauce.
Right? Secret sauce.
Do you taste the grapes before you decide it's time to harvest?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah?
I have to say I'm training myself because I wasn't trained, so the more that I do it, the more I'm trying to learn. But it's fun, too. And my mom, who's 88 years old now, used to come and help me in the vineyard, and she would eat all the grapes that were left after the harvest, and she was in heaven. She just loved eating the grapes. So, it's definitely an important part of determining the harvest is actual taste.
This is amazing.
Yeah, so Linda left about 3% residual sugar in the fermentation, but not for the sweetness, but it gives it a silky mouthfeel, in my opinion.
It's smooth. It's like
this is really easy drinking.
This is liquid loveliness.
Liquid.
This is.
You could drink this all day.
This is a patio pounder.
I'm not the only one who says
heard that.
Okay, the other one is panty droppers.
Oh.
Sorry. Woo. Okay.
I love it.
Beep,
Quick,
beep.
another bottle. No.
That would be the Barbera if any of these were that. I hadn't heard that one. That's
this is awesome. So now, you took us on a tour, which is really cool. So you've got these big tanks, and they're the steel tanks, and you've got your barrels. So
that's correct.
Okay, so you also took us outside and showed us how you do the process. So like you're a scientist now.
Yeah.
You need one of those. You need to do like your hair like Einstein for a day.
I'll work on that. I don't have much to do it with, but I'll try.
No, just gotta do like put a wig, dude. No.
Well, after you work in a winery, there's always some sticky wine.
Yeah, you get some
always
good for you.
Yeah.
Grape seed is in good shampoo.
Dye your head
purple. Half the time we are.
Tell us about that. This is truly handcrafted. So you go out and you're tasting your grapes. Okay, then you harvest. And then you have this
harvest
process
is actually by hand as well.
Okay.
Unlike California, I think there may be one or two here that have some machinery, but for the most part, here in Palisade, it's all hand-picked. So there's no machines involved.
Wow. Each cluster is grabbed, snipped into a bucket, the bucket is brought out and then put into our half-ton harvest bins, and then they are trucked off-site to actually get chilled overnight to get all the heat off from the fermentation for the next day. So
so it's an immediate thing. Like you can't have a headache and say I can't work.
No. It's like when the winemaker says it's ready, it's ready.
Yeah. And one of the challenges as a winemaker for me is getting the crews here when I want them, because we're sharing a lot of the same people, and so in a perfect world, okay, we're ready, and it may take, a few days to get it all happening. So as a winemaker, you'd love it to come off the vines and go straight into the destemmer. But we take it over to the Talbot's warehouse so that it can be chilled, so it doesn't start to ferment on its own, and then they bring it in.
You want to keep the sugars
right.
So there's wild yeast on it, so it will go if it's warm.
You could totally do one of your.
And I have
wild yeast.
Maybe after the interview we'll have you try some of that.
I did that on a little bit of my Sauvignon Blanc, and it was fabulous. I had about 40 gallons that I had set aside, and it was going totally natural. Didn't do anything with it, and because I'm a young winemaker, maybe there were things I could have done, but when it's natural, you can't do anything with it. It was fabulous. It was the best Sauvignon Blanc. Stephanie, what were the notes? We had
pineapple,
passion
fruit.
It was just heaven.
It was like straight passion fruit.
Yeah, but that's interesting because they do it with beer.
Absolutely.
They do that we had that in Arkansas, Little Rock. It's Little Rock 40. The distillery. It's a brewery that's got the number 40 in it, and it has to do with 40 trees on this piece of land that no one can have, and it's about maintaining the integrity and all this cool stuff. So they have they were talking about the wild yeast and not the wild yeast, and it was like a whole different flavor profile of beer. Because you could taste the same thing. And I'm like, I'm kind of into the yeasty part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something.
Makes it unique for sure.
I know.
So we're gonna, I will experiment some more because it was so amazing. I want to do more of that, but I still have a bit to learn. So, but that makes it fun because now I know. Okay, we did that experiment. Now what do we do to get it to that next level?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So do you keep notes of all of this?
Oh
my gosh!
Copious amounts of
Everything
notes.
gets written down.
Everything.
Drives Gary crazy because I'm slower because I'm writing things down.
Oh, you do
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I use my computer too, but if something happens, the computer, the
You're
paper's
getting a
right
wine
there.
shower. You don't want to be having electronics near you.
Yeah, right.
All of our clothing
I
is
never
wine
do
stained,
that.
so it's part of the process.
Well, I want to hear about wine showers.
They're
never planned, but they're more frequent than I would like.
And some at high pressure.
This is great. This is great. So tell us about the other part of handcrafting. You've got a tool that everybody else is using, like an actual pump and a machine.
Yes.
But you got your own paddle that you can steer your wine.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
yeah. So with
paddle.
our reds, we don't do pump overs. So the bigger operations will have a big tank that it's in, and a pump is recirculating the juice that separates from the skins in the tank, and you want to keep that cap, it's called, moist. You don't want it to dry out, and it can be 2 to 3 feet deep if it's left to sit for a while. And actually, Stephanie helped us in, I think it was 2015. We did do our Barbera in a 1,500-gallon open-top tank. And we had to get on this ladder.
I'm starting to see I Love Lucy scenes.
It was 8-foot-high ladder, and we're leaning in and trying to punch down this 4-foot cap, and it was scary.
I was like, if I fall in, I'm a goner.
And you would
be drowning.
And it's all off-gassing CO2 as it's fermenting as well.
So if you
put your head
Did you
over
wear your mask?
of course.
Burn a thing back there.
So since that experience, I have gone to the 1.5-ton macro bins, open. They're about 4 feet high. And I can get in there, Steffi, we all can get in there much easier with a punch-down tool, which is a 6-foot stainless steel rod with a disc on the bottom with some holes, and you're just stirring it up. And
pushing all the skins back down again.
Yeah,
sounds like hard work.
Oh, it is.
It's the best ab workout ever.
Good for your abs, good for your shoulders, and we do it.
Can we attach it to the car?
Yeah.
I need that.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, I'll give you one if you want. But you have to come back and use it.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's amazing.
So we do all of the open-top fermentations inside the winery, and you saw that we have a window where people can see. And during, between September and November, we are the entertainment because people are looking out, and I'm sweating, and when you're punching down, wine is splashing everywhere, and we've actually had some people.
I'm coming back. I want to see this.
We've actually had some people that, that looks cool. Oh, you want to try it? Because it doesn't look as hard as it is. We're trying. So when I know people are in there, and I, usually I'm just, so into my work, I'm trying not to, make myself really
the show
splash or whatever, but it's definitely a great workout, and we always lose weight, which I wish I could keep it off during those months of harvest because it is very physical. It's all manual. There's not much automation going on, and we're working.
Very physical. 42 tons, hand by one
20
shovel
hours
at a time.
A day.
Yep.
Yeah, and
you have to punch down multiple times a day too. You do that every 4 hours?
Every few hours.
And
it's like having a baby.
Yeah, and every time you're punching down, you punch down, you have to take new samples and new measurements and take more new readings on bricks and how the fermentation is progressing and temperatures so that
there's more nutrients involved.
So Steffi said the key, which is temperature. So when we're fermenting, the yeast, each yeast has its own tolerances, you need to keep it in this zone of maybe 60 to 70 or even a little cooler depending on the yeast. So you want to keep it cool, and when the yeast starts to do its job, it heats up. So we have cooling plates that we put in there, and
called chilling plates,
and we have to move them between because we only have a couple, and we'll have 12 different bins, and so we're constantly stirring and measuring and taking the temperature and making sure that the yeast is happy, because if it gets too hot, then
Be nice
stops
to the
working.
yeast.
Yeah.
Exactly. Otherwise, if you have a stuck fermentation, if the yeast is a living organism, and if it dies, it's not coming back. You're stuck. You're starting all over again.
I don't want that.
The wine is half done.
Luckily, we have not had that challenge. I have lots of puncher downers to help me, and punch downers, and so it is very physical.
Right on.
So that's a good break for our unoaked Chardonnay.
Oh, cool.
Okay. The Chardonnay.
This is actually our unoaked estate Chardonnay.
Oh.
My wife and I met in high school in California, and she and I grew up drinking arguably maybe over the oak Chardonnays that I got kind of tired of.
In high school?
Well, this was afterwards.
Oh, come on,
this was after no, never after 21 and on. That's a different story. And so this is kind of a batch that she's made for me, since I'm not so hip on all the oak. So this is a completely unoaked Chardonnay. Has all of the great fruit flavors that Chardonnay can bring, and none of the oak.
So what part of California?
Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So this is interesting. I was saying earlier that it's kind of like Temecula here in a way, because of I just feel like the temperature is kind of similar, but Colorado is its own game.
Elevation.
Yeah, the elevation. We're at about 4,700 foot.
The elevation is great because it allows the air to cool at night, and that really helps with the quality of the grapes. So it gets really warm, up to 100 plus. But at night, it cools down by at least 20, sometimes 40 degrees.
Right.
So that's really good for the grapes.
Geographically, this whole little microsystem would not exist if it hadn't been for our Grand Mesa, our river basin.
Colorado River.
Just the river. I was wondering about that, changing up, depending if your vineyards were closer to the river or further away. Is that going to change the sugar content?
Absolutely. It's all these little microclimates all through the valley. We've got some great winds coming through the mouth of the canyon that just really helps that little microclimate. We're close to the Grand Mesa. We get all the convection from that, what that produces. The people by the river, they obviously have a different soil content, maybe a little more clay. We're more minerality up here. It's a fun region, and I think it's yet to be really discovered.
I think awesome. So.
I'm because I want to live here, but we travel full time.
But we do have some travel writers who are all winos.
Enthusiast, Nancy. Wine enthusiast. Or aficionado.
Wino works for me.
I like wino.
I'm a wino.
I'm an official wino, but I want to bring them all here.
Yeah, I think
I want to bring all the travel food wine writers we know to come out here.
We'd love to have them.
It is such a special area, but there's so many people, even in Denver, that aren't aware that we have vineyards.
That's because they're on the eastern slope, and you're on the west.
Yeah. Yep.
We know about the slope.
There's a continental divide in between us, but we're being discovered, which is great, and they're so surprised because they don't know what to expect. But it is a little oasis, and we're really loving it.
I think when people think of Colorado wine, it's always been peach wine or fruit wine. And that's what I've known. I've thought Grand Junction. I number one thought it was Grand Junction.
Yeah.
And did not know, and I thought, it's going to be Fruta because it's fruit.
I love that.
I got blonde hair, sorry, but that's kind of what I always thought, and I didn't know that, Palisade existed and that it was the hub. This is the center of wine country. I mean, you got 30 wineries here.
Yes.
I mean, you blink and you miss it on I-70. We didn't know it was here for.
Well, how did you get here? Not like I know how you were born, kind of. You never know. But how did you discover Palisade?
I didn't. They did.
And we didn't directly. You have to tell the story, honey.
Yes. So I was in corporate finance for over 20 years.
Oh, God.
Yes. Thank you. I'll drink to that.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers to the change.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And my job got replaced. We had a new CEO. I was working for Stars, the movie channel, and the CEO changed.
Do you know Annette from Dancing Moon Bed and Breakfast?
What's her? Yes,
Annette.
I do.
She worked there too.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Small world,
Yes.
man.
And so my career at that company came to an end, and I started working on my resume and was kind of ready for something new. And then a couple months later, Gary's biggest contract fell through with his parts distribution company, his Mercedes-Benz. And so I looked at him and said, you know, we could keep doing the same thing, but let's try really hard to do something very different. So we did some soul searching, and we were working out at the gym, and our good buddy Bill,
she's getting ready for the paddle.
Said, hey, if it were me, I'd go buy a vineyard in Palisade. And that was it. I was
No
like,
way.
oh, yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Because we love Colorado. We didn't want to move from Colorado.
So you liked it out
We're
here.
looking for other opportunities that spoke to us.
And we hadn't been to Palisade yet. We had driven by on our way to and from California, and we'd seen the green, but we'd never stopped. And so we looked at each other, and he knew I was, that was like...
I was in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. I'm so excited about this idea. But then we realized we hadn't tried any Colorado wine. Shame on us. We'd been in Colorado
so we went to our local winery in Evergreen, Colorado.
We bought every Colorado wine we could find.
Absolutely.
And started tasting, and we fell in love with Col Terrace, which is right up the road.
Yeah, we finally had a wine that we reached. Wow, this is a good Cab.
It's not a fruity wine.
Cab Franc and a Cab Sauv that we were actually really enjoyed. So we reached out to the Highs, Teresa and Scott High, and we made an appointment. It was off season. It was during the winter.
It was in January.
January of 2012. And we reached out to them and said, hey, could we do a tasting with you guys? They said, yeah, come on out. So they were so generous and took probably 5 hours
4 or 5 hours of their day,
showing us the entire area, where to buy, here's the draw, and tried to buy it from this side of the draw, and trying to get something with the water rights clearly, all these little things. And the last thing they did was gave us their a business card of their favorite realtor and said, give Patty Poshman a call, and if you're really serious. And we bought this place the following week.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that for a road trip?
Yeah, that was
I love stories like that.
We didn't overanalyze that one. We just, but this place was it wasn't very appealing because the vines were not thriving. They had been planted 5 years earlier, and they were looking pretty sad. And so we thought we'd have to replant. And
the farmhouse
needed more work,
remodeling, a lot of non-compliant things.
Which is something Gary had done the prior 30 years. He's always been working on cars, working on homes.
He's a fixer.
He likes to improve things.
He's a fixer of Palisade.
Yeah, so it was a good challenge. It was a 4-year plan.
I like that, the fixer. That's it. So now here you also do weddings and events and live music. I was seeing that on your website.
Yes.
That is exciting. I think music, I know this whole COVID thing slowed everybody down.
Gosh,
Not you guys. I know you're always going to have you're always projecting, and like it didn't slow us down. We added, and now we're like, what did we do?
Fluid.
We're fluid. You do. You have to keep, paddling and pumping and pushing. But now the live music is exciting because it looks like you're going to be able to do that. Hopefully the end of summer into fall.
We're thinking July. July 4th is our big, hopefully blowout party. Welcome back to humanity. 4 bands are booked, 3 food trucks.
Awesome.
It's going to be amazing.
They're free to the public.
So it's free to the public.
Awesome. You sit on this lawn. I mean, everyone, the view here is insane. Like, can I have a hammock?
Yeah, that's one of our employees, Amanda, has threatened that we have to hang some hammocks along my new steel structure that we're creating with a cantilever section of our new shade structure that we've been building in anticipation of reopening again.
Okay, and then weddings, you do weddings, and this has got to be the pictures.
Well, we haven't done a wedding yet, but we're planning on doing the weddings mostly at the Cherry Orchard over here because it's a little more intimate. You only, it's not so wide open. It feels just nice and cozy and can fit up to hopefully 200 people there and do your reception and venue there. And that way we don't have to close the tasting room. And
can
we can
balance out the people,
Right,
exactly.
right. Keep it intimate and private rather than in the public eye here when we're still doing business.
And then you also have art here for sale.
Oh my goodness, we're lucky to have a great, talented artist.
So fluid. So, being a family business, we all have strong opinions. It's hard to gain consensus on things.
You guys wouldn't know anything about that, Nancy.
You
What
might
are you
have
talking about? This is why we have wine.
Yes.
And we learned from a therapist, I got to give the Bullets a shout out, that they wrote a book on couples, like conversations for couples. And we're like, okay, we're not married, but we're mother-daughter, and we might as well be married in the way, like how we have to do everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And they say in their book, unless you're an alcoholic or something, your meetings should revolve around happy hour, cocktails, or wine. Because when you're sipping, you can't argue back. Yeah. And you're doing the extra thing. So, like, 5 core conversations for couples. I have to let them know we're talking about them because when we both read that, we're like, okay, we're okay. We're safe. Because our thing.
Because that's exactly
our thing.
That's what you do.
Oh, my. See, check this out. This is our Portofino backpack.
Oh, Vino backpack.
Portofino. You guys gotta know. So I've got an insulated pocket on the inside.
Oh, look at that.
And then you open up your little flappy and your spigot pops out with wine.
No.
And so we do this. Look, we have a map of Portofino spots around the country.
No way.
So this is how we solve any kind of family opinion drama.
If you're going to have a
and our radio shows, we've had people email in saying, well, aren't you opinionated? I'm like, I'm allowed to. It's my show. It's her show. She can have hers, and I can have mine.
There you go.
Take it. I got a Portofino. So anyway.
So the artwork.
The opinions.
So along that lines, we had gray walls everywhere around us and no artwork because we hadn't
Because we didn't finish, the paint wasn't even dry yet either at September 15th.
Yeah.
So
we had some local artists come in and we just, it's not quite the feel we're going for.
Yeah, our vibe is more industrial, modern industrial kind of feel, rustic, all those things. Modern, rustic, industrial, if there's such a thing.
There you go.
We just made it up.
Yeah. So we had a gal come in with her husband, and she was an artist, and she showed Gary her work, and he liked it. She showed me, and I fell in love with it, and we're like, done. Bring it in.
Bring all you can.
We love it. The first piece that we had hanging just brought in the essence of the Mercedes-Benz that we've since sold. It was a blue Mercedes-Benz. It had a lot of rust on the hood, and it also had kind of an organic, just great feel.
It's fluid. It's fluid. Because it's like, I think it's got yeast, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a bumper sticker got yeast.
Yes. I love
that sounds terrible. People will not understand.
We need some more Chardonnay, honey. So her name is Michelle Ellis, and she lives near Salt Lake. I can't think of the name of the city, but she comes out here and replenishes our stock, and so we get to constantly rotate the artwork, and we sell a lot.
That's awesome.
And it just feels right. It just
art and wine go. It's a perfect blend.
It really it's a big blend. And her whole mantra is to make original art affordable. Yeah. So it's incredible. The large format. It's all original.
It's so much better for the artist if the art is affordable because then they can actually make a living.
Well, and it's also not snobby here. You guys are fun. It's relaxed. The scenery, the wine, it's at ease. And I think that's when you really get a chance to look at artwork. It's like in a really good setting.
Approachable.
Yeah, and that's it. This whole wine region, we were talking about that before we started doing the interview, that this is an area that people can just be comfortable. They can fall down off their bike if they want to.
Sure. We'll pick them up with a tractor. We'll bring them to another
winery. Put them on a pallet. Make them go paddle. Put them in the paddle room, Yeah. All right. So in closing, can we taste a red?
Oh, is there closing? We have all the. We have another Chardonnay. We have Chardonnay.
You have another Chardonnay.
So we had our 2000.
So I need to talk about this Chardonnay because this was the.
I like this. Can I just say that I really like this Chardonnay?
Thank you.
They're all good.
Do you typically not like Chardonnay?
we typically
we love wine. Okay, so we're not like picky and going, but
No,
but there is like a certain thing we were saying before this that Nancy and I was chasing the great white from South Africa.
The great white, that's right.
You know it is, and so when it's something local from America, it's really nice, and you guys have that out here. And your winery and all the wineries we've been to have this.
It's the closest
amazing
to South Africa.
Yeah, you know, Temecula has it. There's certain ones. There's obviously some in Napa, but I think in general the whites. I'm not racist, people. The white wines have improved in the country itself, and I don't know how I can say that or why, but maybe it's me. I don't know.
Well, a little bit about Chardonnay. So this was the first variety that I made, and in 2012 it was pretty basic. I had just 15 gallons, and I put some little oak in there, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I liked it.
Well, I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started working with Corey Norsworthy, who is the winemaker for Maison La Belle Vie and Plum Creek, and he also has his own label called Evolve. And Corey has been my go-to guy from 2014 going on. Yeah. And he's from Australia,
Yep.
and he's working with a Frenchman. And so Corey's great. He's taught me so much, but the biggest frustration I had early on was I just wanted him to tell me what to do, and he wouldn't. So I'd say, okay, I want to make this wine. Well, what kind of wine do you want to make? Good wine. Okay, no. What do you want it to taste like? And so he really taught me so much, because every time I asked a question, he would say, it depends.
Yeah.
So you have to work backwards to go forward.
Yes.
I like that.
So he would, I'd say, okay, what do I do now? Well, it depends. Do you want this, or what do you want? So when I first started working with Corey, my Chardonnay, I wanted it to be light, a little oak, not a lot, because I do still like the buttery oaky, but just a hint. So my goal is to have maybe 25%, very subtle, but enough to give it a little more character, a little more structure. I do like the unoaked, but I prefer my slightly oaked Chardonnay because it just has more going on. And I love oak, so I was happy to be able to put some oak on this. And so that's kind of my philosophy with the Chardonnay. And I think we're going to continue to do the unoaked.
This is really good. Do they ever do any other kind of barrels out of wood, like pine or something? Wouldn't that be weird for
that would be a Christmas wine.
They've tried pine. I don't think it's very conducive for the wine to really develop, but there is American oak, there's French oak, there's Hungarian oak.
Avocado. Someone was doing avocado.
I hadn't heard that.
Someone did avocado somewhere. Maybe it was Temecula.
I love that.
Because the Fallbrook is right next door.
Yeah, I like avocado.
We used to burn avocado wood, and we lived in Julian in San Diego, in the mountains, and you'd have oak or avocado, and they started doing avocado from Fallbrook, and it would burn forever and ever.
Very dense.
Dense wood.
Okay.
And it made you want to eat guacamole when you're out of fire.
That sounds fabulous. I wish we could grow avocado out here. That's my favorite thing. So the barrels definitely have huge impact on the wine, and I don't put my white wines or my Chardonnay into barrels. We do all the fermentation in the stainless tanks, and then I will introduce oak staves. So it's actually pieces of barrels that they put on a string.
Oh, wow.
So there's so many options in terms of oak these days. You don't have to use a barrel. You can use little cubes. You can use powder. You can use all different formats. Yeah. And so I have chosen to use oak staves, and I actually do a combination of French and American.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Because I can. You can't do that in a barrel.
See, that's the thing that's neat, because you're developing your own recipe out of what you're doing, and I think it's cool. Amazing to be able to do. I've never heard of anyone doing what you're talking about.
Yes, you just put the staves. They're all in a
now she's dunking.
Yeah, exactly.
And they sit in there, and then we keep trying it and try to find that perfect point that we want to take those staves out and bottle it.
Yeah, Linda was going for...
So that's a final thing.
Well, it is a final thing, besides filtration, but she was not wanting to overpower the fruit, so the fruit is still forward, and we have a nice caramel finish on the end.
This is really smooth. Your wines are very, very smooth.
Thank you.
She's got the smooth touch.
I think California just lost after Colorado.
Oh, Nancy, don't be opinionated. She's being opinionated.
Here we go.
Yes.
I like this Nancy gal.
Cheers to being opinionated. I love that.
Not going back to California.
I know, and I'm going to get the emails. Thanks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I do want to ask this because these little, I thought they were little barn buildings, but they look like they've been around.
Oh, they've been around. It's incredible, the history of these buildings here. This dates back to the 1930s. These are old seasonal worker buildings. And the legend has it that these old ones on the end were actually brought up by truck from an encampment down by the river where we now have our wine fest. Wow. So they were. You can see a saw mark right down the middle of them where they had kind of put them together and reassembled them up here. So back in the day, for all the peach harvests, and we were big also pre-prohibition as apple orchard area too. But that was their housing. So they'd have bunks for 4 guys in these small little areas and a communal kitchen in between. And our wine club members have threatened me that I can't touch this old wood because it's so picturesque.
Yeah, it is.
And they all used to kind of look like that. So the little ones that are renovated or restored,
yes,
they were all kind of dilapidated like that.
But those ones that are restored, those look like nice little Airbnb things.
It could be, or massage therapy type of studio.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Oh. So massage and wine.
Yeah.
And I'm an esthetician too. Yeah.
Okay, so if we can we have wine before the massage? Is that allowed?
No. I prefer after.
Okay. Okay, I know it's not good for the toxins.
Well, it over-toxifies your liver, and it could kill you. Because
well, that's nice.
It could. I mean,
this is an educational show.
I'm just saying. People are silly sometimes when they go and drink wine before a massage, but you move so much of everything in your body that it goes to where it's supposed to go a lot faster. You can feel drunk, or people out here high, a lot quicker, and too much too quick, your body can't handle it, and
sometimes
you can feel very, very sick
afterwards.
Yep.
You feel like
you can be very sick.
But you're bringing up a fabulous point, because that is part of the master plan. After we finish, the projects around the winery, we're hoping to be able to do a spa experience. So we really want people to come out here as a destination, hang out, listen to music, get spa treatments before you drink your wine, and just enjoy what this gift we have here in Mother Nature and the beauty and the peace and tranquility.
And you've got all, the nature experience out here. I mean, absolutely amazing. Remember, I took us out into, the book cliffs. That's what you're saying, the book cliffs out there looking for wild horses and hiking out there. And the scenery, I mean, here's the Grand Mesa. You've got a little bit of snow up there, and it's all green at the top.
Yeah, it's a 10,000-foot mountain.
We're going to be doing that on our way, but we're going to Florence after this.
Oh, good.
The antique capital of the world.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Thank
it
you for
is.
that. It is educational.
We're educated.
No, and it's also home to El Chapo. It's super massive there.
Oh, no.
Did I say that on there?
Yeah, it would seem to
and
be.
Kaczynski's there, too. We want to see if we can go visit.
Oh, no. Do I bring him some wine?
No, it's on the other side of town.
Scary thought that they let them all out because of the virus.
No.
Not those guys.
Not those guys. No, Florence.
Not the Supermax guys.
I want to say Florence is really cool. They have a brewery downtown. Well, this was last year when we visited, and it's really, they're reformatting, they're restoring everything. And they have car shows, by the way. And they have a brewery, and we really need to go. We can go get our hair cut in the brewery.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
See? Now, is that allowed?
That
Barber and beer.
Well, not yet.
I mean, is that allowed? Like, if we can't do that with a massage, but we can do it with our hair.
Totally. Same with nails.
Anything.
Your nails
done. You can do anything, but do not have
just
the
massage.
Body
work. Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to get some red going.
Yes.
We do.
Those were our 4 whites.
Those are our 4 whites. You graduated to the reds.
Now
you
we
passed
got a
the
badge.
test.
We get a badge and a pedal.
Yes. Maybe a bottle of wine.
Maybe a bottle.
Yeah.
Your badge is the bottle.
And you're welcome
We'll do anything you want. Which one do you think?
So we're going to start with the blend.
Oh, everybody, it's the
blend. The big blend.
We got a wine.
Yes.
So we just got results from this one that we got 89 points from Wine Enthusiasts, so that was huge for us. These were our first wines we've ever submitted to Wine Enthusiasts. So
oh, wow.
That's been fun.
Congratulations.
So the theory behind this particular blend is we wanted to represent the valley.
Thank you.
So these are not our grapes. These are from 2 other wineries. And we had our wine club members come to a blending experience. We gave them a choice of 4 wines. We had a Merlot, a Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, and a St. Vincent, which is a cold, hardy cultivar, which means it can handle the cold. They call them hybrids. So we're trying to experiment more with those because they'll do better in Colorado with our cold weather. And so they had 4 wines to choose from, and they had an hour or two to do. I kind of set them up with the beakers and the graduated cylinders and pipettes, and kind of explained, gave them the pH and the acid, and gave them some chemistry stuff, and just let them go at it and mix away. And each person or couple got to create their own blend. And then we brought in the judges. We had Corey Norsworthy, who's from Maison La Belle Vie. We had Jenny Baldwin, who is used to be,
Jenny Baldwin
Eaton. I left the Eaton off. She used to be the Plum Creek winemaker, and now she's teaching at the community college. She's teaching enology. And then we had Christine Feller, who's a local super taster, I would call her. She's got a great palate and really does a great job helping.
And she's a neighbor.
Right up the street.
Right down the
everybody's neighbors. Yeah, so we gave them the tools, and they created their blends, and the judges narrowed it to 2, and then we got to be the tiebreakers. So this Proprietor's Red Blend for 2018, it doesn't have the year on it because there were a couple different years, but it is a Merlot. It's pretty much a Bordeaux blend. It's Merlot, it's Cabernet Franc, and Cabernet Sauvignon. And so it got an 89. The winemaker did very little, if anything,
and
other
Lisa
than
Ness, one of our wine club members.
So the winner got to get her name on the label. So we just thought it was a
That's
fun.
nice. It's a Lisa.
Yeah, it's a fun way.
Here's to Lisa.
Here's to Lisa.
Yes. A fun way to get our community involved in the process, and I think we're going to do more of that because it was a lot of fun.
I love that because I think people need to hear what we're talking about, all the processes. Because, you know, when you sit and sip and savor, swirl.
How many can you do?
I don't know. But you have more of an appreciation what went into
what goes
that.
into it.
Yeah. It's important, and you're not, coming up with one recipe. You've got all these different wines. There's the growing, it's the paddling.
Yeah, the paddling.
The paddle and pub.
The punching down.
The punching down.
Punch down tool.
I like the paddling better.
The paddling
sounds more fun.
But punching down is the realistic.
Like kayaking.
Yeah, the paddling is what it looks like to everybody watching you, but the punching down is what you guys are doing, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I love that we're bringing in the Valley wines. It's not just ours, and it's just fun to be able to showcase the different wines.
No, you've got wines up there. I don't have the medals in front of me, so I can't remember anything. And I'm having wine, so I don't.
No, it's okay.
But I've got to pass. Tell us about the award. Which ones have the awards?
So we submitted 4 wines into the Colorado Governor's Cup this year. It's first time.
What does it get, a big cup of wine?
Somebody gets
the governor did.
They get a trophy.
Yeah. Who won this year?
It was Qatari Wines. With their Syrah, I believe.
But we submitted 4 wines.
And all 4 came back to medals.
So the Barbera was the
awesome. 2016 Barbera, and that
got a silver medal.
And the 2018 Sauvignon Blanc also got a silver medal.
That we started off our tastings with. That was the same wine.
That's awesome.
That was silver.
And then we submitted the Cabernet
2015 Cabernet Franc and the 2018 Semillon, and those got Brauns medals.
Awesome, you guys. Yeah. This has got to be fulfilling as heck. Like sitting back here and going, I got a medal, man.
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist, so.
Are you a Virgo?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I didn't even get gold.
Virgo power.
But for being a new winemaker, I'm thrilled to be able to get an 89 from Wine Enthusiast is huge. And, it gives me kind of a benchmark that I can say, okay, got to do better.
Top ourselves.
Yeah, next year.
We're just competing with ourselves, I think. Because it's kind of pointless. We grow our own grapes to compare ourselves to other wineries. It's just like we just do our thing. We have the music. We create this amazing experience for people to come bond together. Our wine club's like this big family. We have almost 400 individual wine club members.
That's a lot.
They come to all of our little
for less than
events.
2 years. Yeah,
we're a year and a half in, and keep getting more wine club members because they realize what a ginormous family it becomes.
Yeah, what I let's say a shout out to our wine club members. What great guys and gals that supported us through this COVID-19 thing. You know, they didn't stop calling. They had us deliver wine. They came by. They had us ship wine. So amazing family.
We love our wine club members.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I like this.
It's a family.
It is.
It's amazing.
And they're all
bring
friends
their
with each other now. Like, they've all become friends with each other, and they're like, oh, we went to dinner with so-and-so, and da-da-da-da, and have you seen them lately? And it's just fun. And they bring we sell these rough tumblers that they come prepared, and they bring their own glass, and we fill them up, and they just sip on their wine the whole concert or whatever we're doing that day.
Oh, my gosh.
We have parties 3 times a year for them. We call them pickup parties, but we always have food, and we always have music.
So you can serve the penny dropper at the
Exactly.
Oh, that's coming yet. Wait, that's coming.
We have a new wine club member, don't we? Little Eleanor.
Oh, that's right.
We have had some babies.
Yeah, we've had some babies. They're due to our Barbera, which will be next.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I've been excited about the Barbera.
Yeah.
People have been engaged over our wine, and
that's nice.
you know, wanted to have their weddings here, but COVID kind of affects that now.
But you have wine. At the end of the day, that's the first thing when the COVID thing happened. Everybody else ran for toilet paper. I ran for wine.
Priorities.
And bourbon. And tequila. Well, if you need alcohol, like there's, you gotta take care of yourself that way. But I wanted to ask on your website. Tell everybody your website, but can people order online?
Yeah, so it's www.restorationvineyards.com. All of our events are on there. We have under our wines tab, it has a send me my wines. So if you're out of the state of Colorado, you click on that. If you're in the state, you can just give us a call. You can order online through many different aspects for us. Cool. And we're still doing our shipping discounts, specials during this time of quarantining goodness, so you can get your wine quicker and cheaper. So we're doing $9.99 shipping for 3 to 11 bottles and 99-cent shipping for a case.
So it doesn't. So when we get to wherever we get to after here, we don't know. Yeah. Really, we don't have a darn clue where we're going. I'm going to call and go, we need some restoration.
Totally.
Yes, you do.
Everyone does.
Just like, we need help.
Yeah, we ship to over 40 states at this point.
That's amazing.
And that's through our Vino Shipper collaboration. They help us out so much with those licenses, the shipping licenses.
And then what about restaurants? Do restaurants and places like that?
Yeah, we distribute to 4 restaurants at this point. Our local restaurant, Pesh, as well as Palisade Cafe. They carry, Pesh carries our Barbera, and then Palisade Cafe, I think, carries almost all of our wines at this point. We do a winemaker's dinner pairing with them every winter. They do a winter winemaker dinner series, and it's so fun. It always sells out. And then in Grand Junction, we are partnered with 626 on Rude and Pantusos.
So our original business model was to do, because we're so small, we're doing maybe 2,500.
So primarily all of our wines are estate wines, with the exception of this particular blend we're tasting now. So
but blend is about community.
It is.
That is part of that word. So then this is what the Barbera is or not?
The Barbera is next. That's the state as well.
I'm excited about this. I saw Barbera on your website, saw it in your tasting room, and I'm like, I want to taste the Barbera. I remember loving Barbera, and it was another winery. I think it was Temecula, and it was the first time I had it, and I went,
isn't it special?
Barbera.
So fun, huh?
Barbera.
It's so fun. It's an Italian.
Well, let's say no more.
Can we just say Barbera?
Barbera.
I want to make it Spanish.
Oh, Barbera.
So cute.
And I'm now pouring the Barbera.
Barbera. Come to me.
So this is an Italian grape that is super popular.
Barbera.
Yep. In the Piedmont region, and it's been around forever. We think 800 AD is when they first dated it back to. It is the father of a lot of your reds, your
like Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon.
Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's known as the wine of the people in Italy. So I didn't really know Barbera till we had it in our vineyard, and this is just such a special grape. It's got a little more acidity than your vinifera, which are your French grapes, but it also has wonderful fruit and low tannins. So it's a really easy drinking wine. I chose to put it through secondary fermentation, malolactic, and also put it in French oak barrels.
Malolactic?
Malolactic. So
I'm not going to say that.
There's malic acid and there's lactic acid. And malic, don't want to get too much chemistry.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the lactics either.
Yeah. But malic is... But you know what lactic is, right? It's more like milk, right? Yeah. So the malic is a harsh acid.
This is vegan, everybody.
We didn't add any milk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
These are naturally occurring acids in the grapes, but when we put it through the malolactic fermentation, the malic gets converted to lactic, which is smoother, more buttery.
A little easier on the tongue.
Yeah. So that really mellows out some of those acids, and putting it in French oak
I'm feeling glowy with this. I'm feeling warm and glowy.
This was your panty dropper one we were talking about.
Yeah,
it is a panty dropper.
Yeah, this wine comes in the 2017 Barbera is just under 15% alcohol, so it packs a wallop. So we recommend food when you're drinking this wine, and then
Now, what's your favorite music?
Oh, we don't have a favorite music. We like it all. Stephanie is an accomplished musician herself.
What? Tell.
I play the French horn.
Wow.
And that was
took a breath away.
The French horn. Oh my gosh.
Well, it was interesting. When I was a kiddo, we had an instrument petting zoo in 4th grade when you're going to start band. And I wanted to play flute. Yeah, that's what we called it.
Wow.
But my mom played the flute.
Play the flute, and I said, no, that's too common, too ordinary, because I played the flute.
I played the flute.
Yeah, and I'd already been learning how to play the flute before then because I loved it, and I wanted to be like my mama because she's amazing. And but she's like, nope.
What did you do? What did you just do before we got?
So we walked around. Then I was like, okay, my brother played the clarinet. I want to play the clarinet then. And so I tried it. I could not make a sound. It was horrible.
Oh, you sound like a duck.
Yeah, I was like, this is painful.
The reed thing.
Yeah, and I was like, nope, that's not it. And then I was like,
the trumpet,
because my uncle played the trumpet. And I was like, okay, and I made a sound. It wasn't terrible, but I was like, there's so much pressure. I don't know. And then my mom's like, what about that French horn? Little did I know it's such a hard instrument to play.
No, I wasn't going to tell her that.
But it was easy for me when I was in 4th grade to make this beautiful tone, and everyone kind of looked at me and was like, that is your instrument. And that was my major in college. I was a music education major.
Oh, right on.
Awesome. And I played with the community band, or played with, because we haven't been able to rehearse in a while.
No, I see. I want to. You've got to go out there with the French horn in the vineyard.
Yeah, I know, right?
Play to the birds and everything.
Did you play the tuba?
I did. One of my boyfriends in college was a tuba player, but I just don't have big enough lungs. I think.
It's like.
Yeah.
Wow.
French horn has been my thing.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so we love music, and we've supported the symphony. We've had fundraisers for the symphony, and a wide range of music. Gary's kind of in charge of most of the choices.
So the bands that you book here, are they local Palisade or Grand Junction, Grand Valley?
I think without exception, they're all Colorado-based bands. Okay. But the majority are from either Montrose to the Grand Valley.
Or they grew up in Montrose.
Some in Denver. There's some kind of tie to
the valley,
to this area.
To the West Slope, Western Slope.
This is awesome.
Western Slope music.
So what do you think of the Barbera?
I love the Barbera.
Does it stand up to your other expectations of Barbera?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. I think your wine is exceptional. I really do.
Thank you.
I'm really glad we came out.
Well, people come out and we tell them the story, and they look at me and they say, "Why is your wine so good?" Because you don't really know what you're doing. Is kind of the implication.
Yeah, people ask, did you learn how to make wine studying YouTube?
Did you,
learn it on YouTube?
No. Did you go to Davis?
Yeah. Yes. And I hope.
Where did you get your schooling?
Yeah,
Where's your certificate?
I hope to do the online Davis program as soon as we have the time.
What? Waiting for a quarantine?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. More help, I guess.
Yeah.
But I give full attribution to our grapes because we had these grapes were planted, and 5 years later they started to really blossom. So they were tortured the first 5 years. Sorry, Mike, who was the prior owner. They just didn't get enough water, we think. So, they're really good grapes.
They're resilient.
I love my grapes. I talk to them.
We call her a wine grower, not the winemaker or the viticulturist, but she's a wine grower.
Well, it's good that you talk to her.
Yeah, we all are.
Do you play the music?
We play music
right here.
Yeah.
On her stage. But Linda sings, talks to them.
But every vine is sacred, and I care about everyone.
Do you name them?
Not yet. There's over 10,000 vines, so I don't think I could if I wanted.
We couldn't remember that many names.
That's a lot. 10,000 names.
So the other thing about our vineyard is the spacing is much closer than you'll see in California. So we've got 6-foot rows.
2 meters. Yep.
And
they like it.
And so we can get better yields because we have more density.
They're playing with each other better.
Yes. They're talking to each other. They're happy grapes, and
we have some flowering starting right now. We just saw some when we were walking through the Chardonnay.
Yeah, we'll have to show you. Have you smelled a flowering grape?
No.
Oh. It's the best. Make the perfume.
Yeah.
Wow, you can maybe make it an essential oil.
There you go. I'll put it in the new spa we're going to make.
You can't have my grapes for oil. I'm making wine.
What about the
Well, come on, just one little corner.
Good idea. The pumice and the skins.
Yeah. You can have the
scrub. You can make a scrub.
Well, I tell you what, stomping grapes and the Julian grape stomp. They just put vodka in and you stand on grapes and it's just like fun,
Oh, yeah.
But my feet really loved stomping the grapes.
Exactly.
They were like the grapes were kind of hard, so it felt like it was like a little massage, and I'm like, dude,
like rolling on marbles a little bit.
Isn't your feet like that's where a lot of your toxins go and center there? So you're releasing that and you're going, but they did come out. Okay,
there it is.
Party.
Yeah.
Party. But
more education.
All this good benefit from stomping grapes.
Plus, there was a good grape fight at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love that.
That sounds very familiar.
We got in the tank. We got in the barrel, I should say, with a bunch of young Irish students, college students that came over to party. And a lady got in with her white dress, and she was very la-di-da, and just went like this with her glass.
She dropped it.
And somebody took it out. We got it out, and we all looked at each other, and they actually closed it down to how we all did. We all looked at each other and just went,
take some of that.
And next thing you know, we partied with them all afternoon and ended up in Venice Beach the next morning. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But it was,
they said they
we showed them America. So we were like, come on.
Venice Beach.
That's true.
There's a slice of America.
Yeah. All pass in front of you. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I love it.
We're
okay.
on to...
Look at that sediment in that. We didn't filter that particular
take it
year.
away.
No, I won't.
Yeah, we didn't filter. Fine. It's all pretty
I think it's
natural.
supposed to be part of it. I'm not anti-sediment.
You're not afraid of the sediment.
And then our big Cab Franc.
We embrace the sediment.
Oh.
Yes. Well, thank you for having us out here. Really, this is amazing.
Yeah, we're closing up with our Cabernet Franc.
Oh, that is awesome.
Getting there.
Yeah.
You're okay.
17?
17.
No Russians, not a race.
2007. No, it's not. We have airtime for when we want airtime.
We can do whatever.
We're allowed. You know what? That's the entrepreneurial thing. So, in closing on this, proper closing, but we're going to talk about this wine.
Wait.
I want to know.
Wait.
Oh, here we come.
Yes, ma'am.
She needs wine.
Chardonnay, please.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
so sorry. She's taking our wine away.
Yes, we are.
Well, there's what people want a wine taste. That's okay.
Thank you.
So what I want to know is, and everyone say hi to Christy because she got us out here.
Christy's amazing. Our newest hire.
I don't get to be charmed by my darling husband later.
Oh, this sounds good. We just had hand dropping wine. What do you want? So we're gonna go. We're gonna go camping in a cabin at Palisade Base Camp.
Yes.
Yes.
They're so great. They're such a great addition to the valley. It's just been a nice destination for people to be able to have somewhere near to camp, and then they all just filter up here, and we all get to benefit from everyone coming into the valley.
I love it. I love the variety. So we started at Dancing Moon Bed and Breakfast. It was Annette and Trey who got us out here. We stayed at Castle Creek Manor Bed and Breakfast in Grand Junction. Listen,
cool.
we put our suitcases in the room, and the next thing we did was wine tasting downstairs with her.
Yay!
Wow.
And then every time we turned around, let's do another wine tasting.
Oh.
I'm just going to say, you guys need to connect. She is awesome.
Yeah,
Brenda and her husband Rob are awesome. He golfs and she does wine. Castle Creek Manor Bed and Breakfast, and they bought their bed and breakfast, kind of like how you guys ended up here. Everybody's got these neat stories of how they got here, and it's like, it all
just did it.
No, it just happened with us.
Yeah.
It all seems like everyone. It just kind of. It was one of those things that just meant to be. It wasn't expected, and that's what happened. But Castle Creek, she went to the wine festival and said, in 10 years, I'm going to own a bed and breakfast. So she went to the wine festival, and the bed and breakfast was for sale. And she said, "That's it."
Done.
She's been going to the Grand Junction Wine Festival.
So we're following our hearts, not our brains.
Yeah, and Dancing Moon for 10 years collected and bought antique furniture sold.
For 10 years,
For 10 years, so that they
it's a
could have
10-year
a
thing
better
here. Yeah.
That's a long
That's a great story.
I know.
Yeah.
So these people are like determined.
And they shared their wine stash with us too.
Yay!
And their Talbot stash.
Oh my!
So they were really cool. But then we also stayed at Mesa Park Vineyards, and they have an Airbnb.
Yes.
Awesome, and we love their dog Daryl. That's another thing.
Daryl, he is a staple.
They have great wines too, and it's like it seems like you guys are like not that far from each other, but the microclimate I can already tell is different.
Absolutely.
And we grow completely different grapes than they do.
Exactly.
Because they do.
Cab Franc, Merlot, and Cab Sauv, right?
Now we just came out of. This is another cool bed and breakfast. Vistas and Vineyards.
Right.
Right in downtown.
And so they were fun with us with wine too. Everybody's fun with us with wine in this area, so I want to give a shout out to all the different places you can stay while you wine taste and cycle around. And you don't even have to bring your own bike.
You can rent a bike.
Rent a bike.
Yep.
You could go with Pally Tours. Pally Tours does these cool guided tours wherever you want. It's super customized.
He took us on the river.
Yeah, exactly.
And then tomorrow we're meeting Mark, who's going to take us on a pedicab.
Mark.
So this is the other thing. All these. So you've got Spoken
Vine.
That's a motel. So
Joey and Jeff, amazing couple. They've renovated an old motor lodge into this wonderful, hip, new, modern, plush place.
Pet friendly, which is hard to find.
Yeah. So it's all
I can take
at
you.
Dave and Michelle at Wine.
You animal.
Dave and Michelle at Wine. Help me out.
Wine Country Inn. Or Wine Valley Inn.
Oh, that's right. So there's a lot of options that are different.
But B&B.
A lot of B&B and rentals that aren't big hotels, although we do have a great Wine Country Inn.
Wine Country Inn, which is great, right off the freeway.
They've got a pool.
Super pool, great facility.
Let's go.
I want you guys to have a hammock for me.
Yes, it's coming
I
soon.
think like the
right
single seater ones, like the hanging seat hammock.
Oh yeah.
Right there at the end
and
of
then
the
put your barrel of wine there in the thing, and I'll just go. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have
punch it down.
Punch it down.
Exactly.
Okay, so
I
love it.
Thinking people going into that next phase of life of starting any phase of life really, when you're going to start something new, right? Going through this, sometimes there's that fear, there's we're going to do it, there's excitement, then you do it and you're like, oh, what did I just do? There's all those emotions.
Yeah, but you got to keep doing it.
You got to keep doing, right? You've got to keep going. So from each of you, a tip for someone listening that is going into that next project and kind of going through that process, a tip for them, whether it's a vineyard, you can do it from anything.
Good question.
Think about that, because I feel like this is the story we've heard from you today. It's like,
it's inspirational to do what's just go for it and do it. You know.
I can give you a quick answer.
Yeah.
I think life is a journey, not a destination.
Yes.
So you got to just keep on pushing through, reinvent yourself, don't become stagnant, and enjoy life to the fullest, and learn. I'm a hands-on learning kind of guy, so I just love trying something completely new and different, and just immerse yourself in it and grow with it. And that would be my take on it. And
I would
Linda?
say be fearless. Don't overthink it.
That's hard.
That's tough for her.
That's hard. See, I'm
an analyst.
And see, and I drive her nuts because I'm like, just as I say, oh no, this is how we're going to do it. No way, I got even a better idea.
Yeah.
I drive her nuts.
And let go a little bit.
Oh,
trust.
She's going to tell me when we get in the car tonight. Did you hear what Linda said? Let go.
We're a lot alike.
Yeah,
so I'm talking to myself right now.
Well, the two Virgos.
Yes.
So just be fearless and let go of perfection, because I think being perfectionist, it's a good thing, but it also slows you down. It keeps you from taking that leap. So, fearless.
I like that.
Yeah.
You got to keep going. Now, what about you, Stephanie?
Don't work with your family.
No,
Sorry,
it's got its moments, but you got wine, so it's all good, and a good view.
Yeah. I mean, I love my family. I couldn't have a better family to work with. Honestly, these people are amazing. But
so they say everything before the butt is anyway.
I got a big butt, and
I'm going a whole different. I'm going a whole different direction with it, because I'm kind of a data gatherer. I love doing so much research, but I've really found it very helpful to connect with people in my community and see what the need is, and then still follow my own vision, but know what is around you and make accurate decisions that set you apart.
That's good.
Yeah, create your own niche that creates an experience for people, because that's what people go for. They'll remember the experience, not necessarily the wine that they tasted at the end of the day, but how you made them feel. And that's
be yourself, be authentic, and
yeah, and
it's part and parcel. The wine has a lot to do with it.
It does. It will make you feel even better, but you can put the wine in front of people, but if you're not giving them a connection to relate that to, they're not going to remember your wine.
Very true. That's
very eloquent, Stephanie.
And that's really, I think that's perfect. And it's true, because coming here, there's an experience meeting you all and hearing your story, and for all our listeners, you're connecting now too, and so you can buy that bottle online.
Yes,
get that wine online.
www.restorationvineyards.com.
Very good.
It is actually really cool to sit with a glass of wine and realize the water came from here, and I'm looking at that mountain, and I know where the air comes from, and I see where the sun is, and it all ends up in your glass.
Yes.
So you're drinking nature.
Cheers to liquid.
Yes.
Cheers to liquid love.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. By the way, the Cab Franc is badass.
When you see your baby low down in the street, begging out for nickel, man, everyone she meet. Little girl used to be nice and fine, shot at the title, got knocked out by wine. She's wine-headed, she's wine-headed, and my wine-headed woman right on the promised land. She's gonna tell you where it's at. She's gonna roll around and bake it fat. Then when the devil reaches up his big hand, she's gonna slide right onto the promised land. She's
So this is our second round of conversation here at Restoration Vineyards in Palisade, Colorado, and we're with Linda Brauns. Did I say that right?
You did.
Linda Brauns, who's a winemaker here, and we've, had a wonderful conversation about all their wines. But now we're going to really learn a little bit more about wine tasting, especially going into a new wine. So it's going to be very interesting to learn. I think we're going to learn more about tasting wine now than we would have finished wine.
Absolutely. And we love to do this. So this is a 2019 Pinotage that's still in the barrel. We've got 4 barrels of this wine, and I'm just sampling it on a regular basis, and I love to do the barrel tastings with friends so they can help me learn about how a wine develops over time. So we're going to try this Pinotage, and for those of you who don't know what a Pinotage is, it is a South African varietal that was created in the 1920s, I believe.
Cool.
Something that would do well in South Africa, and it is a hybrid that was a clone of a Pinot Noir and an Hermitage, which is now known as Cinsault, but that's how Pinotage got its name. So it's a Pinotage and a Cinsault, and there isn't a lot of it around here. We found a vineyard in Palisade that was growing a little bit, so we have a little to play with, and it was my husband Gary's favorite wine. We went to South Africa a few years ago, and he fell in love with the Pinotage, so we were thrilled, and now as a winemaker, my challenge is how to bring it to what it should be. I'm trying to educate myself, and Lisa and Nancy are going to help me because they're familiar with Pinotage. Tell me how this compares to those that they've had. But it is a young wine. It's been in the barrel for maybe 6 months in French oak, and we're going to try this and see what you gals think.
I feel like we're being challenged here, Nancy.
I just want
to. Do you have a memory? Yeah, okay, so let's do this.
So we're going to talk about a young wine and how it's different from a wine that ends up in the bottle.
Now, do we play swirly swirly?
You absolutely swirl.
Swirl.
And, look at how the color is. It's a very
pretty, but it's still
purple.
Yeah,
yes.
Purple with clear on the edges. Does that mean something?
It does. We want clear edges. What you'll see as the wine ages is the outside edge will become browner over time. And so this one is a very young wine. Doesn't have a ton of tannin, but the tannin is the thing that protects the wine and it ages well. So the more tannin, the better the wine will age. But it also, in a young wine, will give you that dry mouthfeel. So we won't bottle this until it has a really nice round mouthfeel, and I'm not sure this one's there yet, but I think it's fun to. Are you getting some fruit?
It smells perky.
Perky.
It's actually really good. Yeah, it's perky. Perky Pinotage.
Yeah, so the Pinotage is a tough one. From what I've been reading, it's hard to do well. It's definitely it needs a lot of structure. I don't think we're there yet in terms of mouthfeel.
I think I get two things. So like there's like a perky, a little bit of dryness, right? But at the same time there's sweet, but they haven't merged.
Right. So I would say it's not a round mouthfeel, which is what
it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
But it's weird because it's like you can almost go back and forth. You know what I mean? Like you can almost go, okay, folks, as a taster, you can focus on each one if you want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or if I had a lot of wine?
Well, for me, the thing is it balanced? Does it have the complexity? Does it have a nice front of the palate, mid-palate, finish? Is it all just kind of working well together where it lingers at the finish? And I think this one doesn't quite linger as much as I would like it.
I liked it though.
But it might in a couple months.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave it in the barrel and continue to try it.
So what would you write down? What would happen now? Are you going to go write in your notes, like, okay, this is where it's at? Are you tasting, looking at your notes from like the day before or whatever? I don't know how often you check it.
So just, it's still fruit forward in my opinion. It's got some good fruity notes. It's got maybe a little rose on the nose and some strawberry. And then the oak is giving it a little more, I don't think we're caramely yet, but it's giving it some structure.
You got a light chocolate in the way back.
So that would come from the barrel. So the barrels we have them in are medium toast, which will give it some more of the chocolate characteristics. And then, do we leave it in a barrel for a long time, or do we want to go fresher? So this is the second batch. So because I haven't made Pinotage before, I separated it into 2 different batches, and I used one yeast on one and a different on the other, because I want to learn.
Yeah, we're back to the yeast again.
Yeah. It is the yeast.
It's all about the yeast.
So Chuck, come on, we want to hear what we want to.
Just warm it.
Swirly.
So we have Chuck Price with us, and he is the former owner of Mesa Park Vineyards, and he's been making wine for how many years, Chuck?
About 12.
12 years.
12 years. Okay, got to come a little closer if you can.
So we see the wine, we can feel the wine, we can taste the wine, we can smell the wine, but we can't hear the wine. So a traditional toast.
He's like, don't forget the fun out of it all, right? That's it.
And he's trying it now. So
I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yes? So you've had Pinotage. What do you love about Pinotage?
I'm going more into this. See, I think the Pinotage is why I like Syrah.
You know what? Why does summer come to mind?
Summer,
barbecues.
Yeah,
you got to think it's been over 20 years here.
Does it go well with barbecued meat? Our other friend who's from South Africa tells us it's all all about the barbecue.
Well, it's a braai. It's a lekker braai. That's South Africa. It's a lekker braai. A braai is Afrikaans. It's Afrikaans for barbecue, and you would have they make what's called boerewors, which is a type of sausage. And it's a little more fatty, thicker. And they also have spicy and potjiekos.
So the sweet Pinotage with the higher acid works well with the fatty sausage.
Well, actually, this is where it really goes for me.
That's just the summer.
Is in South Africa, we'd have kebabs, and they go shish kebabs over there, and I know they had another name for it too. But kebabs were always part of a braai, potjiekos, boerewors, lamb chops, all of that. But they would do kebabs, and it always had like pineapple, bell peppers, chunks of meat. But they were always marinated, and I've never been able to have that flavor. I haven't had that flavor in my mouth since South Africa. But there is a marinade,
which is wine based.
And even when you go to the store, you could buy kebabs already made up that have been sitting there marinated. You
marinate them in wine for you.
That's like, I don't know if it's wine, but it's it's wine. There's spices. Everyone's different, but the kebabs.
It's a blend.
So I don't know if that was a Port Elizabeth thing from where we lived, but the kebabs. Everybody had kebabs that was like your light finger food.
And it's fun, right?
Yeah.
It's got everything going.
And like we talked about chicken being like, that's your salad, your side dish. Kebabs were like that too.
Okay, so it's appetizer.
Well, South Africa is a mix of cultures, and I think that's what's so great about the wine of South Africa. Is like, you've got Portuguese, you've got Greek, you've got France, you've got German, all in there. The Dutch, of course, and in England, and then of course you've got your African tribes and everything. But I don't know, they did mostly brewing of beer, more than anything.
They didn't do wine.
They didn't do wine so much, but beer. And I can't remember what there was a name for it. I'll come up with it later.
Yes, you will.
I'll have another glass of wine and I'll remember everything. But the kebabs, and that's why I taste this and I say this would be with the kebabs because of the marinade of the kebabs.
I just go summer. This just takes me right back to summer.
And refreshing.
So summer wine and barbecue with friends.
It's kind of like, it's like a darker rosé, but it's not a rosé. It's like fruitier rosé, but not. It still has that dryness.
It doesn't have the tannin, so it's a little lighter. Yeah. What does Chuck think of the Pinotage?
I get notes of like a raspberry or a boysenberry, but also bell pepper. I've always heard bell pepper used as descriptors for some wine, and I've never.
It's the pyrazines that are in the grape that give you that bell pepper flavor.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So sometimes it's the ripeness.
That was an odd descriptor, but it really.
You're getting that, huh?
So is that something that would stay with it, or is that from it being new? That's what I want to know. Is like, what am I tasting?
Yeah, no, the pyrazines have to do with the ripeness of the grape, so it's going to stay. You can, the more tannins, the more muted maybe the bell pepper might be, because it's kind of balancing it out, but you're not going to change what was in that original grape in terms of...
Yeah, I'm feeling it now. If you just sit and rest and breathe, you breathe through your tongue, like backwards.
Breathe through your tongue.
I'm different, okay?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it takes years
I'm feeling the fire.
To get a sophisticated
I'm getting more green chilies.
Like
but then
people used to always describe Cab Sauv as having a very peppery taste.
Nancy always talks about the pepper on the back end.
I had like 3 or 4 different years of Cab Sauv, and I just could never draw out that pepper. And then one day I poured myself a glass of Cab Sauv, and it was like, what? I just woke up to that peppery, black pepper.
Because you have to separate the taste in your mind. It's like when you bake a cake and you have all the different ingredients. If you taste each ingredient, it doesn't taste anything like the final
blend
thing. Yes. So
that's the blend.
So you're really deconstructing the wine to find a particular flavor. I'm not sure that the winemaker wants you to do that as opposed to
if we do our jobs right, it's just this experience that from beginning to end is very rich and dynamic, and it's not one thing. So if it's one-dimensional, then I don't feel like I've done my job. It should be the front of the palate, the mid-palate, the finish, and does it linger? And is it kind of round? Does it all just come together in this beautiful blend?
Yeah.
And so that would be my goal.
Get another point. You said blend. See, but now, so now we've had it.
Everything's
now it's
blend.
open out into the air. So the oxidization process, like as you savor it more, you're like, okay, this is getting really good.
Yes. So you bring up a great point about oxidation. So there's this peak, so it gets better and better, and then at some point, too much oxygen starts to turn it, a little more like apple, like rotten apple, and then
but we see here we just finished the wine. We don't wait.
You don't wait for it to over oxidize, but the more tannin. And if it's been in a bottle, this hasn't. This was in the barrel, so it's getting a little bit of oxygen in the barrel. But if you have a bottled wine that has a lot of tannins, you want to give it some oxygen because it gets kind of tight, I want to say. Maybe there's a better word, but if you put it into a glass or carafe and let it open up, it's going to be great, let's say 20 minutes afterwards. It's different for every wine because every wine has different tannins, and you got to kind of figure that one out. But definitely that oxygen just opens it up, lets it blossom, and gives you everything that it was before it got put into the bottle.
Wow.
That's with red wine.
Yeah.
White wines don't have the tannins.
Wine drinker would, like anything that's been in the bottle, say 5 or 10 years, they would go through a kind of an opening up or a releasing, decant the wine.
Decant the wine and let it breathe.
Because it would be, like Linda says, so tight that it would take, several minutes of just that oxygen.
Let it breathe.
Exposing
it's like all those little model cooks need to go out and say, hey, it's a party out there.
Yeah. Give me a few minutes and I'll be ready to party. And that's, again, just for the red wines. White wines in general don't have a lot of oak. There are those that do, but white wines don't like the oxygen like the red wines do.
So this was interesting in Julian. We went back there, it was 2012, at the beginning of our tour. And we took our friend Linda Kassam. She's the president of the International Food Wine Travel Rights Association. Wine lady. She did a lot of PR work for wineries in Temecula and everything. And she went with us to Julian. And, Jay Jenkins, rest in peace, we're drinking to him.
He was great winemaker.
Great man, great scientist, biologist. He knew science. That's what I knew.
He passed away a few years back, but we went up there, and his winery's been taken. It's now Vulcan Mountain Winery. And that's where we learned penny droppers, by the way. It was about, they had this apple blossom wine. They made apple blossom wine. They made apple wine, and they would mix it with another white wine that I can't remember if it was a Sauvignon Blanc, and I think it was. And it was like apple pie, and they called it, that was the penny dropper wine. But anyway,
and the wine before that was the patio pounder.
The patio pounder,
We heard the porch pounder.
Okay. The porch pounder.
Well, that's the next step.
Okay.
But the patio porch pounder goes to the penny droppers. But he had this Syrah, and this was 2012, and it was a 2008 Syrah that he made, and he didn't like it, so he just left it in the barrel and just forgot about it. And I think one of the tasting room girls went, wait a minute, we got this barrel.
Let's try it.
And she brought it.
So good.
Very concentrated, probably. Very
it was amazing. So she opened it up, poured it for us, left the bottle sitting, and this wine, I was just like, I think I've gone to heaven with this. And you know, there's just one barrel, and that's it, you know. So they bottled it, and he didn't like it, but everybody else in the world was like, this is the juice of joy, of liquid love and everything.
Love it.
So she left the bottle sitting while we were there and everything. We did an interview and all that stuff. So she said, I want you to come back to this. I've just left, got like 3/4, half of a bottle left between all of us. Come back to it. And that taste had changed within a half hour, an hour. That much. That fast.
Did you like it better?
I liked both.
Yeah.
But they were different.
They were different, but they were both really good. And so that's a weird. I've never forgotten that experience.
The thing about wine that I love the most is it's a living thing. It's going to keep changing.
Yeah.
Well, it's the yeast in the beginning, but then after it ferments, hopefully there's no yeast in the bottle because it's going to shoot off the cork eventually. But it just keeps on developing. And with white wines, with my white wines, they're, I don't know how long they'll age. With the reds that have a lot of tannin, doesn't work. The tannins protect the wine and lend themselves to the aging process. So the more the tannins, the longer they're going to age, the better they're going to develop. But it's a constantly changing thing. So to me, that's the fun because it's so dynamic.
And that's good for all Virgos.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.